What up, what up? Yet another video starting off with putting air in my tire. I should probably look into that quite soon. So today's video is going to be about my worst accident that I've ever had. Not on a motorcycle, car accident. Now this accident happened a long time ago. In fact, it was such a bad accident that I actually remember the date. October 25th, 1997. Montgomery County, Maryland. 18-year-old single vader cruising around. Your boy was just chilling. And at that time, I was 18 and I had my very first car. Now in hindsight, that first car was probably a bit too much for an 18-year-old. I mean, I have a 15-year-old son who's about to start driving, and I definitely wouldn't give him a car as powerful as that. But as convincing as I am, I, kind of convinced my parents to help me buy it. Now the car in question is a 1994 Ford Mustang GT manual. And not only was it a GT, but it was a convertible also. So it had the hunter green body color with the tan top. After a while the color grew on me. I just really wanted that power. I'll throw a picture of not the actual car because I don't have a picture of the car. I'll Google image search a picture of it. So that was my car. I'm gonna go down the street where the accident actually happened. Who else does that at a stoplight? You just throw your kickstand down and sit on your bike. It's a little easier to do when you know the timing of the lights. Because when you don't and the light suddenly turns green, you gotta all of a sudden get your bike upright and kickstand out and first gear and all that dumb you get too nervous and you end up stalling. Like right now, oh Yo, I didn't even look, bro. About a week before the accident, I had locked my keys in the car in a shopping center. I mean, everything was locked, so I couldn't get into it. And luckily, I saw a cop in the shopping center, so I tracked him down and I asked him if he could possibly be able to jimmy my lock open. It was a bunch of cops and they were sitting eating lunch, and one of them begrudgingly said, okay, fine, but after they're done eating. So cool. I went out to the parking lot and I sat and waited for them to finish eating for like 3 hours. It probably was really more like 20 minutes, but anyways, the cop comes out and he gets his tool, whatever he used to jimmy the lock open, the kind of you see in the movies, and he proceeds to unlock my car. Now after he does so, he must have done something because I wasn't able to lock my car again. So a couple days before the accident, I took it to a car shop. Shocker, they didn't have the part and was gonna have to get ordered and all this dumb shit. My car was there for a couple days, and when I finally got the call to go pick up my car, I was psyched. So they called me to come get my car. I get somebody to come drop me off. I pick up my car and we're on our way from the shop. So by the time I pick up my car, it was right about noon, right around lunchtime. And if you're not familiar with the Bethesda, Rockville area, there's a lot of businesses here. So during lunchtime, the roads were, packed. So I was coming down this road in my car. Everything was chilling. I put the top down. I probably had something like Biggie or Pac playing in there. We get to the stoplight where I'm about to make a left turn, just like I am right now. Back then, it wasn't 2 lanes. It was just this single lane right here. So I'm about to turn left into this lane. Now, you see that main road has 3 lanes going in each way and nowhere to have an emergency pull off. If you break down, I mean, you're kind of blocking everybody's way. So it's lunchtime. This road here is packed. I mean, like bumper to bumper traffic. It doesn't look it right now, but during lunchtime it can get pretty ridiculous. So I'm turning a left and there's a semi truck in the middle lane, right? A huge semi truck in the middle lane, to the point that I couldn't see on either direction. And I saw that the lane in front of me to the right was open, so I quickly, bam, hit the turn and boom! I hit a car that was sitting right there. It was just parked. Obviously, I didn't see it because the 18-wheeler was here and I couldn't see in front of me. Hey, my guy, you want to back up a little bit? So, bam, I hit this thing, you know, hard. Because I had just switched lanes and I thought, you know, I got a free pass. So I hit the gas to the point that I didn't even have enough time to react to hit the brake. And that was in front of Georgetown Prep, by the way. The accident where I went boom, that's exactly where it happened. And right to my right, that was Georgetown Prep. You might remember Georgetown Prep from the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. That was the school that they said all those, you know, those preppy kids were. Anyways, you know what they did. So anyways, I slammed hard into the back of this car. Actually, they showed me a picture after the accident where they pulled my car away from his car and my front bumper got stuck to his rear bumper. So when they pulled my car out, my front bumper was sticking out of his rear bumper. Anyways, so I hit this thing freaking hard. And if anybody's ever been in an accident, airbags are something. So I'm kind of, you know, riding my car with like one hand like this, and I had a baseball cap on. So when the airbag went off, it hit my arm, pushed it right into my hat, which sounds cartoonish almost, but I shatter my wrist bone right over here on a freaking baseball hat, of all things. Nope, not yet. So my hand hits my hat and I break my wrist. Now, the second after the accident happened, obviously, you have no idea what's happening. You don't know which way is up. On top of that, you break your wrist. And then for those who have been in a car accident where the airbag's deployed, things they don't tell you is the airbag fumes are like they choke. So I was coughing on the airbag fumes. It felt like my eyes were burning, felt like my skin was burning from just hitting the airbag. And I literally, I swear to God, I mean, at least this is how I remember it. It probably didn't happen as dramatically as I'm telling it, but I literally just flopped out of the car. Like I said, it was really busy during that time of day, so there was a lot of people that saw what happened. And luckily there was somebody that came and picked me off the side of the road so that, one, I don't get run over by any other car. So I'm in pain, my wrist is killing me, I'm coughing up what seemed like my lung. The Samaritan that came and picked me up, he kind of drops me off the side of the road. Oh, gravel. Whew. He kind of picks me up, drops me off on the side of the road, and then bolts down the road a little bit past where the car that I hit ended up going. So anyways, he picks me up and he puts me on the side of the road and then just bolts. After the initial shock, I kind of gather myself, stand up on my legs, turn around, and I notice now there was a huddle or a group of people where the dude ended up running too. And I'm like, what the hell is going on, man? I'm the one kind of sitting, you know, in pain over here. So I start walking up to where the people were huddled. I look down and I see this old ass man laying in a pool of blood. And at first, I didn't think that had anything to do with the accident that just happened. I mean, like, I don't know why it just didn't click that the two were related, but it was an old man laying in a pool of blood. To me, it felt like the accident happened about 30 seconds ago, but from the time that I saw that I picked myself up and I went to go see the old man, I can already hear the ambulances rushing. So, old man laying in a pool of blood. The ambulance finally comes. They take each of us to Suburban Hospital in Bethesda, and I get a cast put on my wrist, and you know, they call my parents. What's funny, side note, what's funny is when the cops called my parents to tell them that I was in a car accident, they didn't tell them, obviously, you know, that it was a fairly bad car accident. I mean, it was pretty severe. Luckily, I only came away with a broken wrist. So when the cops told them that I was in a car accident and I was at the hospital, the first thing my parents said was, the car's totaled, isn't it? And then they told him, like, yeah, it's actually pretty severe accident. So why is there an old man laying in a pool of blood? Apparently, you saw how there was only 3 lanes and no emergency pull-offs on that main road. Well, the guy's car ended up breaking down or in the 3rd lane of that main road. So he was pulled over to the right, and that's why this lane was clear, because I didn't see that there was a broken down car up there. So his car broke down, and the first thing they tell you when your car breaks down is get away from the car, especially if there's no like emergency pull-off. But I guess my dude didn't learn that lesson, because he was under the hood of the car that I just rear-ended like a freaking. So when I hit his car and he was over here, it launched him. I mean, it launched the dude, and he fell down and cracked his head. And that's what the cop, you know, told me happened. Obviously, I didn't see. All I saw was that I hit a car. I didn't see that there was a dude behind on the other side, because the hood was up and he was working on it. So I smashed life out of it. I mean, he didn't die. Thankfully, he didn't die. I found out later that he did need some rehab, but ultimately he made a full recovery. He was a professor at Georgetown, of all things. Like I said, he made a full recovery. Not like I kept in touch with him, but I just happened to run into the cop, you know, a couple of years ago, a couple of years afterwards, and he kind of told me. So anyways, oh God, there's a bump. So there's my story of the worst car accident I've ever been involved in. Gotta find a good reflection, gotta find a good reflection. Gotta find a good reflection. No good reflection. No good reflection. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that little story. Drop a like if you enjoyed my misfortune. And as always,